Regulators, including the Fed, have finalized sweeping rules to help consumers pay their credit card bills. The rules will take effect in 2010. They include a restriction on credit card companies from raising rates on current balances. They can only raise rates on future purchases. Consumers must get a 45-day notice before changes are made to their account. And no universal default. Banks cannot increase interest rates if a consumer defaults on a separate debt obligation, like a utility bill. While the measures could help at-risk consumers, some analysts predict the banking industry could lose as much as $10 billion a year from payments.
The biggest shift, and the one that credit card industry fought tooth and nail to prevent, was this new rule that they cannot raise rates on existing balances, which is what credit card companies have done for decades. You fall behind on your balance, on your payments, your rate goes up. Everybody got used to that. Well, now the regulators are saying, it's unfair to these consumers to jack up their rates when they're clearly having problems paying off their existing balances. So you can't do that anymore, or you can only raise rates for future balances.
So if credit card companies are under pressure, what does that mean for consumers' access to liquidity and interest rates on new credit cards?
Credit card companies are not going to let consumers borrow as much. They're going to reduce credit lines. They're going to raise rates. They're going to start assessing fees. They're going to be a lot more careful about who they give cards to. These 0% rollover teaser rate offers are a thing of the past, at least for the time being. And for consumers, that means they're going to be they can't spend as much as they used to.
In the end, the changes may curtail shoppers' access to liquidity, but with American consumers owing $971 billion in credit card debt, or $3,184 per person, many say maybe that's not such a bad thing.
Look, I think that to some degree, credit lines should be limited. The debt orgy that we had, really going back to 1982, a lot of people think of this as a phenomenon only in this century so far, but this is a 25-year phenomenon. And as much as we want to get credit flowing again, and that we need credit and we need the demand for borrowing on the part of the borrowers and the consumer, we also are still fixing household sector balance sheets, and we're at the beginning of what I think will be a long process. Now, that's going to have the effect of keeping overall economic growth subdued, but the last thing we want to do now is to sort of lessen restrictions in terms of lending and go back to the era of our ways.